Okay. Now, so as mentioned before, more in Korea, all the cases or these cluster infections or people who get infected are normally indoors,
Yeah.
right? You never hear any cases of someone just walking out in the park and getting infected.
But the last year,
Uh huh.
the Independence Day, a lot of people were gathered together in the
Those are
palace in
protests.
Seoul.
Uh huh.
But
Okay.
yeah, they get infected because they could do not didn't follow the rule of social distancing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Now, all right, then let me ask you. Let's say for winter, more you're gonna have more cases,
Mm-hmm.
more people are gonna get infected.
Mm-hmm.
Is this because during winter, more people just they tend to be indoors and they will
Mm-hmm.
gather indoors,
Mm-hmm.
as to during summer, people would actually gather more outdoors.
Yeah, they
So,
interrogate. Yeah.
so would you say that typically you're gonna have more infect more cases or more diagnosed people or a bigger
Mm-hmm.
spread during winter because just the majority of the population is staying indoors
Mm,
more than outdoors?
it's not because of the indoors or outdoors.
Uh-huh.
It's because the immune system is getting
Weaker.
weaker in winter season, and
Okay.
then the virus is circling around, not uh, themselves in
Mm-hmm.
carrier,
Okay.
and then the carriers, the living organism is a very suitable place
Okay.
to for the virus to live in.
Now then
And
would
then there's a certain environment for the virus to live is to as a kind of some tract or organs,
mm-hmm.
and then they live there, and also some kind of virus also live with us.
Okay, the
Li-
virus,
yeah,
right, right.
and then if you are getting weaker, and then they get stronger, then they attack you to be illness.
So then basically we have all these viruses in us.
Uh-huh.
We have all these even maybe deadly
Uh-huh.
viruses in us. But because when our immune system is strong,
Uh-huh.
basically our immune system can contain the viruses
Yeah.
and make it pretty much dormant.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything.
Uh-huh.
But when our immune system gets weak,
Uh-huh.
that's when you'll have an outbreak of the virus in
Yeah.
our body.
I think, but yeah, but those are very general theory of a virus.
Right, general theory.
Yeah, and but there's the mutated viruses like SARS-CoV two
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Those are from not from certain kind of people. It's from
Mm-hmm.
animals. In animals, some in Middle East virus.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
MERS.
MERS,
Yeah,
Middle
but
Eastern
the theory is that it came from the
animal.
animals, but the
Can.
animals cannot very little, but it spread to human. Human being
Okay.
is very dangerous, but human being also get immune system
Okay.
that it can. Some people have to be very. Some people it get affected very little, but some people is getting over because of their immune system.
Okay. Then I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they said during summer when it's really hot, when it's really sunny outside,
Mm-hmm.
the sun rays, because of whatever's in the sun rays, maybe vitamin D, whatever the case is, or the heat, will kill COVID at a faster rate
Yeah.
than if it was
In the
cooler.
summer season, usually the COVID-19 virus
Hmm.
is not very suitable for them to live
Okay, because of the heat and the
because of
humid
heat
weather.
and human immunity system getting
Okay.
stronger.
Then, how about during winter? Let's say someone sneezed. Let's say they had COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. Every virus
Uh huh.
is very is stronger in winter season.
Sure.
So
Um,
that's why people a lot of getting common
uh,
cold.
common cold,
Yeah.
right? Then, can COVID-19 or flu
Mm-hmm.
let's say it gets so cold that it freezes,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe ice or whatever. Um, can it survive in ice, or can it survive when it's frozen? Like you know, maybe some insects they can
I'm not
freeze.
sure. I have no idea, but
Uh
I
huh.
think my theory is that the virus can survive, but
It can
they
survive
are
in a
not very
frozen state.
active to
Not
get
active.
infected to other things, and
Okay.
but they just live
Okay.
in the very cold like ice.
Okay.
But if there is certain kind of carriers, it's like living organism, they can survive. They can be stronger than where they in the ice. It's
Okay.
because a living
Sure.
organism can help them to spread more.
Sure. I guess it's that perfect
Uh,
environment
mm,
for them to be able to
survive.
spread. Yeah,
Yeah, spread
survive
or
and
survive.
spread.
Yeah.
Um, because there's a carrier, I
Yeah.
guess. So okay, so
I
possibly
think
they can live in a
it is
frozen state.
designed to live in living organism.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Then here's another question that I have. So like, and I'm gonna ask you later about this new mutated version because I guess it came to
In yeah,
Korea
some kind of countries like
from England,
from England
right?
and South Africa.
Oh, South Africa as
Yeah.
well. Wow. Um. Oh, hold on. Let me write this down. South Africa. Okay, that's another interesting question. Um. So like, let's look at the COVID-19 we have now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird because it came from an animal. That's the claim. The
Mm-hmm.
claim is, it came from bats or wherever from some animal market in
Yeah.
China, because they like to eat anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah.
we live in
Because
Asia. We know the secret.
yeah.
As for the Westerners, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my gosh, you guys eat that stuff," But anyway, we're Asian. We know how people roll in China.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what's very interesting is okay, we have bird flu that comes to Korea every year from the
Mm.
birds that migrate from maybe
Yeah,
Russia or
yeah, Russia
whatever.
from
But and bird flu can pass on to humans.
yeah, it's possible.
However, we know there's a lot. We every year we hear cases of birds just passing on to other birds. It gets
Mm.
over to the chickens,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to kill the chickens, and we know the spread, right,
Mm-hmm.
of animal to animal,
Mm.
right, because it should spread amongst animals more than
Mm.
us
Yeah.
because it came from them.
Mm-hmm.
We have swine flu, right?
Yeah.
Every year, it seems that way lately, that the pigs, they're spreading swine flu amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
We can track it, and we kill all the pigs that
Mm.
get swine flu. We bury them. You have to do
Yeah.
babysitting
Yeah.
duty,
Yeah.
right?
A lot.
And yeah, swine flu can pass on to humans. However,
No,
no, it can't, or
it
we eat it.
cannot.
Okay, so it can't pass on to humans, but we don't want to eat it.
You don't want to eat it because it's
Uh-huh.
contaminated.
Contaminated. Okay. And so, anyway, we could track it,
Mm.
and we kill the pigs that get it. End of story. Now, my thing about COVID-19, this is why it's kind of very interesting. It comes from animals, and therefore it should be still contagious amongst the animals, so we could track the spread of it with animals.
Mm-hmm.
But with COVID-19, it seems to be more contagious amongst humans
Anyone that you
and
don't
less
know
with animals.
anything about the COVID-19, where it come from,
So,
because
right.
there's a lot of hypothetical,
That's why it's
theories.
hypothetical
Yeah,
theories, right?
and so we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But it takes long time to study viruses because
Right.
just one kind of RNA mutated, it takes long
Takes a long
to
time.
find out what is the virus, how to mutate it.
Okay.
So it takes time, I think.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me, that's like the oddest thing. From my humanly experience, all these viruses that come from animals or that get spread amongst these animals, we can track it. We know it happens, and it spreads even more amongst them. This COVID-19 supposedly comes from an animal.
Yeah.
and it's not spreading amongst them, but it's doing an excellent job spreading amongst us. And so, what's going on here? Why?
It's because we cannot fly, but we can yeah,
Right.
we can on the airplane and then move around or travel around, and
Sure.
that's why they sometimes some people carry those the virus COVID-19 virus, but they can have any symptoms like they are not ill,
Right.
but they can spread.
Right. Asymptomatic.
Yeah, asymptomatic people, but sometimes because their immune system is very strong, because they are not kind of have kind of COVID-19. Even though they have a COVID-19 virus, they
Sure.
are not ill.
Right.
It's because their immune system is very strong.
Right.
But the other people, once they getting the virus, some people are some people have really weak immune system compared to
Sure.
others, and they
Sure.
can be
They
very
can.
it can be very lethal for them.
Sure. Because like even bats, they live in big communities, in caves.
But they live in their own kind of site,
Sure,
not
and
human beings.
right. But you would think the Chinese government would track all these communities of bats and see the spread of it, because if it came from a bat, and still we see occasionally you might see bats amongst humans. They're living in the attic. There's some kind of contact. They might gather in thousands or tens. I don't know, but you see those movies with bats. The guy walks in a cave, and thousands of bats fly out of a cave. And so there should be some level of capability to see the spread of COVID-19 amongst the bats if it came from bats. And there's no studies of it. No, like nothing saying, oh, the bats are continuing to spread COVID-19 amongst each other. But in Korea, we hear about it with bird flu and swine flu. So that's why to me is a little suspect about the whole bat theory. I still think maybe it came from an animal, it's possible, but I don't know about the whole bat theory. Otherwise,
sure.
I'm disappointed with the Chinese. At the end, they're still Asian, and they should have. Yeah, they
I think
should have done an easy job of tracking that.
Yeah. But I think this result is kind of work with China and something like this country.
Right.
I think there are a lot of hypothetical.
There's a lot, maybe
yeah.
it came from an
But I
experimental
think if it
laboratory.
it may come from bat. I think the bat, they have all kind of they have, I think, strong immune system from the COVID-19, and then but I think it have the COVID-19 virus have to be mutated because they have to be survive in the living organism like human being. That's why some kind of come out the kind of different kind of mutation virus, COVID-19 virus, like United Kingdom or
now
South
that's
Africa.
another thing. Okay, so the mutated version in England or the UK, the United Kingdom, is that the same mutated version in South Africa, or does South Africa have a different mutated version?
I don't know, but
You
I
don't
think
know?
it's the same thing.
It's the same. Is it like somebody from the UK flew over to South Africa and then spread it over there? Because I heard this new mutated version is more infectious than the original COVID-19. Or is it like somebody in South Africa, just for whatever reason, they had their own mutated version there. England has their own mutated version, and now we have two different types of mutated versions.
It's because we are human beings. We look a lot like each other.
Sure.
right? We have
Mhm.
eyes, ears,
Right.
like something like that. But in the immune system or the organs in our bodies are a little bit different. It makes the virus can survive is in the different kind of atmosphere, like environment, in human environment.
Yeah.
And then the Westerners is generally have stronger pancreas than ICM people,
Right.
and
Okay.
and then that's why it's different. Asian people usually get diabetes, even though they are not fat.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
in the Westerners, usually they have a fat and then a lot of abdominal obesity. They
Sure.
usually get diabetes, but in is it different in from Korea like Japan?
Okay. Then how about the case where we have the mutated version in Korea? Because you was it like 3 Korean people went to England, they came back, uh, they brought this new version of
Yeah.
COVID-19 or mutated version, and I heard the grandpa already died. I heard he passed away. Um, what do you think? Do you think they need to make a new vaccine for this one, or the current vaccines should be effective against the mutated version?
I think the COVID-19 virus is kind of mutated virus from SARS.
Okay.
SARS French too.
I see.
So I think we cannot control every kind of viruses, but every kind of virus,
Right.
because we only can the kind of common virus
Okay.
only prevent common virus, and then the other branches viruses we have to be overcome our immune system, and then if they have symptoms we just give them medicine, like
So
if they have a
therapeutics.
fever,
Therapeutics
yeah.
instead of just a straight out vaccine.
No.
Just treat it through
Yeah.
therapeutics.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you we take all the control of viruses, we have a lot of
Crazy.
lots of tons of vaccines we need.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll go crazy. Our
Yeah,
bodies.
just columnar
Okay.
virus, and then
Okay.
the other branch virus we have to be overcome the other therapeutic kind of way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.